I'm going to, by the way, come back to that one in just a minute. Will the company grow and keep growing? That's what I want to cover now. Next slide. So I never explained this to new network marketing people. Okay? So if they're just people over the corner or over the hedge, I don't talk to them that way. Network marketing leaders, I always have this conversation because it is our competitive advantage. All right. So ideally, you have more than one division. You know how we're talking brands in this company? The problem in network marketing is, number one, is if you do get success, almost immediately you get this perception of saturation. All right? And so then people say, it's already saturated. It's already gone from small to big. I'm going to find a new company. The other thing is that if you ever get negative media, it can wipe you out. Right? And so my check went from $65,000 a month to $16,000 a month in 3 months. That is a heart attack when that happens to you. I don't want that to happen here. And it's one of the reasons that I really, really love this part. Next slide. So the way I like to describe it, if you were to look from an aerial view down, and this is a mall, all malls are set up this way. These are called anchor tenants, one on both sides, or sometimes you have 4 anchor tenants. Okay? And the reason they're called anchors is because they pay the majority of the rent. And all the stores in between are kind of gambles for the real estate owner. And so these anchors, all the parking lots are sitting out here. People come in, and then while they're going over through Nordstrom's to Saks Fifth Avenue, they walk by these places. These places come and go. They're quick pops, if you will. Now, in network marketing, you have to have nutrition and skincare as your anchor tenants because they're consumed every day. So when you see these companies that come out and they're selling AT&T wireless or something like that, they're selling telephone services, and you get 4 cents commission. Great, right? They're good for pops that you can then sell other products to, but they're not good as standalones. I will never be in electronics. I will never be in a non-consumable. If you don't have the anchor tenants, you've got nothing in your company. I've seen them go and come. I've probably seen 3,000 companies pop onto the scene. Best thing ever. Unbelievable. You can't believe this. All that stuff. And then just happens. They're gone. Okay? So you've got to have that. And then you can have these little, pops. And that's what they are to me. They're pops. Okay? So we build our brands. And so we can have our anchor tenants on the outside, and then on the inside, next slide, we can have Purity, Juve, Slenderize, Nutrify, all these different brands, and we can have these quick ones if we wanted to. Next slide. Juve, look at that. Will that sell outside the network? You bet it will. That's professional. Next slide. Nutrify, wow. If you guys have been through some of my training on weight loss, you'll know how much affinity I have for these products. Next slide. Purity, water filtration, air filtration. Next slide. So I'm showing you what I show. And then Prime, hey, changed my one I got put on there. Somebody went in there and changed that because I had a cool one. Next slide. All right, and then weight loss. And it's no surprise to anybody. I have chosen Slenderize as the brand I'm going to promote to most people. MLM leaders, I tell them what I just showed you. But most people, here's the way I do it. Next slide. All right, so this guy just popped out on the scene. Just hit on Facebook, I don't know, 20 hours ago, something like that. He shows his before and after pictures. 31 pounds in 30 days. Next slide. His wife puts it up on Facebook. And it took about 3 hours to have 7 people say, send me a link on how I can get this. And I have them right there so you can see it. Audrey West, are you in the room?
Right here, too.
All right. Can you just stand up and yell and tell what was your weight loss story that you put on Facebook?
Sure. So I put a post on Facebook on my own personal post and in one group that said a year after having my 2 kids, I was about 20 pounds overweight and I couldn't stop eating bread. I had a really hard time doing it. I tried different diets, it didn't work. And I'm obviously paraphrasing this, but then I said, I did this program, I lost the 20 pounds, I completely got rid of all my carb and sugar and bread cravings, and now I'm 20 pounds lighter. And if you have any interest in this, or if you want any help, send me a private message or comment below. And I got 200 responses to that in
2 days. Boom! Okay. So, that gives you a clue as to why I don't push the MLM, the why choose RX, all of that on new people. What you don't know about that gal is that she was sitting in my living room the day after I signed up. And I told, she's a friend of ours, I told her, you're going to hate me in a few years. Okay? Her brother signed up. Her brother signed up her mother. But Audrey didn't. It's not a bad thing. Let me show you why. I'm just going to run through some here. Next slide. All right, so there you can see some of these before and after pictures. Next slide. Aren't you glad I cropped that? Look at the before and afters. Next slide. This guy lost 137 pounds in a year and 8 months. Look at that difference. All right, next slide. 80 pounds. Next slide. Marcus Cox over there on the left. I think he's here. Marine on the right. Next slide. Okay, we do this all day long. Okay, these are by the hundreds. Next slide. There's Steve Wilson, 34 pounds, 60 days. Next slide. Michael Ranger, he had a baby. 60 days. Next slide. This is an old buddy of mine. We've known each other for 20 years. More? 20 years? He lost 75 pounds. He was a personal trainer. And next slide. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Now, let me show you the actual statistics. I have this little thing that I have that's running all the time. It updates real time. And so right here are the men, and 207 clinical packs we've sold, and out of that, 57 of those become representatives. On the women's side, 99 to 48. That's a 27%. 48% of women, 27% of men, 48% of women who buy the clinical pack convert to be reps. That is why I do it this way. It's because once they have a story, they don't wonder who the customer is. It's simple to them. I take this, I lose weight, it's easy. And so that's the reason that's the way I prefer non-MLM people. Okay, next slide. That is where I show you that, let's sell outside the network, because all of those are just customers. Okay, next slide. Will I be compensated well? Next slide. You guys know this already, but